Now, there you go. Now do that.
A long time ago, I was a 15, 16-year-old kid, and I had an old guitar, and I was walking down to the beach, and I had a slide, and I thought, I'm gonna fool around and figure out how to do slide guitar. So I was down there at the beach, and I tuned my guitar up to standard tuning, and everybody knows that when you strum a guitar standard tuning, it does not make a harmonious chord, and is you have to make the chords. Well, I didn't know anything about open tuning, and so that's what I did. I took my slide, and of course there was only 2 strings where you could kind of fool around. If I included other strings in it, it wouldn't sound good. And I thought, there must be something I'm missing here. There must be something about this technique and everything that I just don't know, and it's some really, amazing thing that these great musicians know, and it's going to take a long time to learn. And I thought, if I just tuned it to a chord, I didn't even know you to use the term open chord. If I just tuned it to a chord, then I could just do all kinds of stuff. But you know what? I didn't, because something in me said that would be cheating. That wouldn't be the right way. That wouldn't be proper. That people would think, oh, you're just fooling around now. Years and years later, I'm walking along Venice Beach. I hear that sound, that slide guitar sound. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go and ask this guy, what is the deal? Go up and ask him, and he's nice enough to tell me. He says, well, you just tune it to a chord, and then wherever you put the slide, there's a chord for you, and just go experiment with that. That's how I was told to go play slide guitar. What I generally do is I took all the things that I tattooed on my knuckles, and I kind of painted them along the frets, and they all kind of have my own little symbolic meanings to it and all this, and And then, so I know that the certain symbol I got up here sounds like that to me. Okay, now you might say, but dude, I don't have any tattoos on my knuckles. In which case I have to say, okay, you know, don't worry, there's hope for you yet. Okay, you just put a piece of tape, masking tape on here, and you mark it. A good way to start is you count 1, 2, 3 frets. On the 3rd fret, put a little mark. 4, 5, put another little mark. 6, 7, put another little mark. And on the 12th, you put another mark for your octave. And this is what they are. Now, the reason I say mark those first is because those are just some kind of major points to hang around at first while you're kind of getting the feel for it. Obviously, any one of these frets can lead you down different paths. Let's see, I'm trying to... Oh, okay, different rhythms. Different rhythms as well. Okay, that's so typical. That's the blues, the little blues shuffle. Okay, you can use that. You can use a random thing. Imagine you're tapping your fingers on the table, and it's just like you're not doing a certain set, very linear pattern. It's almost like a little phrase in itself. Okay, so. You just find rhythms that are comfortable in your own hand and go with it. As long as you have a rhythm you're comfortable with, that allows you to free up your mind to take a free finger and pluck something else right in the middle of all that, so that now you have rhythm plus a melody going on. So really, if you had a melody plus a rhythm plus your own voice singing something, you've already got the tools there to create a pretty round picture of something. So it kind of goes along the lines of like self-similarity in plants, you know, where if you take a piece of broccoli and you look at the big broccoli or the cauliflower and it looks a certain way, and if you break a little piece off of it and get real close, it looks the same as well. Or the frond of a piece of fern or something. If you look at, okay, it's a stick, little sticks coming off of it. If you look at those sticks, those are little sticks coming off of those, and the little sticks coming off of those, and the little sticks coming off of those. In that same way, you can kind of repeat, you can repeat rhythmic figures and kind of weave a melody in it. Like, let me see if I can get an example. Okay. Too great, but there was, you can kind of see how there was like kind of a melody kind of trying to say something in there, but it was all framed by the rhythm. One thing to kind of practice would be trying to throw things in around your rhythms. Like here we got rhythm on the bottom, and there's a string up on top that we can use for melody. If you can kind of separate the rhythm fingers in your mind from the other finger, the harmony, everything's perfect. Well, then you walk away from that to create some sort of story. It's like every story has a conflict. If you just sat there on your one key all the time and everything was just hunky-dory, then nothing's interesting, nothing's happening. As soon as you go off of that home note, now all of a sudden we have to shift. And the farther and farther away you get, you create a tension. Now, somewhere in your gut, you're waiting for me to come back down to that. So, we can jump from this right back to the home note, but it's kind of fun to destabilize it a little bit. Now before I did one fret behind on the third string up to a minor. What you can also do is the next string up, do 2 frets down. You see that kind of like destabilizes a little bit. And it wants to really fall down. And I'll try it again. And there's like a confirmation. The home note. Really? Yep. Sometimes I make, lots of times, as you're playing and improvising, you make a mistake. And think, okay. Oh, that's a mistake. I really wanted to go here, but I went here. Okay, that's all right. So now we're going to change course. And just make a song out of your mistakes. I'll go into this like further in detail later, but the whole vibratory nature of the universe and the music and what we're doing here is I want all those overtones. I want all those crazy vibrations to come out. And so when you get a sitar and they have all the main strings on top and they have the sympathetic strings underneath. Well, they you know, in the Hindu culture, they're very into vibrations and all kinds of interesting things like that. And I think they know what they're doing. So there's a lot of sort of things where, as you play, it's sort of like you're making a statement and a reply, or a question and an answer. And these things will kind of come out as you follow that sound within you and what you think it should sound like. You might go. A lot of things will happen like a person tends to kind of play what they think they heard and kind of imitate it and then use it in their own way, like this little figure. Okay, I've heard that in so many different country songs. I've even heard it in psychedelic Pink Floyd. You hear that little, you hear that everywhere, okay? So there's nothing wrong with that. So that's maybe brings up another point I'd like to say is that, don't be intimidated by music theory. What's the right way to do it? What's the proper thing to do? What's the, all that, forget about it. This is something that is already in you, and I'm just showing you how easily that what's in you can translate into this instrument. I don't know where that came from. I just hate it.
That's something better get, stuff like that.
That was weird. Oh, the sense of freedom.